Ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da, ba, ba. All right, so let's talk Olympics. I love the Olympics, as you can imagine. I was a fan ever since I was a young boy in Los Angeles, living a whole. I lived in Baldwin Hills. I can just give my address away because I don't live there anymore. Was it 4206 Don Arianas Drive, which is about 3 miles away from the LA Coliseum. So I could literally go out my bathroom window, 4206 Don Arianas Drive. Yeah, in Don's in Los Angeles. If you know what Los Angeles is, you know that. So I could literally go out my bathroom window and then squint and see the cauldron from the LA Coliseum. It was pretty cool. So I've been an Olympics fan ever since. Like every high school athlete worth a darn in California, I had aspirations of going, although I was never really close. But it's good to have aspirations, I feel like. And so I've been an Olympics guy ever since. I feel like it's nice for us regular people to get a window into greatness. And just the really calibrated expressions of will. The calibrated expressions of will that can only come through a very well-engineered sport. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, think about Quincy Hall winning the 400 meters this year, right? You needed everything to align, and the person who won that race is the person who wanted it the most. Might not even been the naturally fastest. When you come around fourth from the turn, this is Quincy Hall's race. Go ahead, look at it. 400 meters. When you come around fourth from the turn and you just will yourself forward, that took a lot of organization institutionally for that expression of will to be made manifest. You don't see that in everyday life because everyday life you deal with other things, right? So these kind of sports are calibrated to see who has the accumulated will. That means will in practice and is willing to organize themselves both in practice and in mindset to peak on that one day and just express their humanity in a way that nobody else could in that situation. There's nothing natural about these events. Let me be clear again. There's nothing particularly natural about these events. Like inertia is working against you. There's nothing natural about what Quincy Hall did. And it's the defying of nature that we appreciate. But let's get to some more substance. First of all, Russia should have been in the games. I'm ticked that Russia was not in the games. We have Israel there, an entire pariah state. An entire genocidal state is there proud of being in the Olympics, but Russia doesn't get to go. I blame Joe Biden. I think if we'd elected Trump in 2020, the stupid sanctions wouldn't have gone, and then we would have had Russia in the Olympics, and and I feel, that was just one of the collateral damage. This is supposed to be about letting in all nations insofar as they're nations. Unless we're not going to recognize Russia at all as a nation, then it should go in the Olympics. No, Israel should go. And Russia should be there. And I'll be really ticked if Russia doesn't come to the 2028 Olympics in LA as a sort of payback, retribution. That puts an entire asterisk on the game. I think this game has an asterisk because Russia wasn't there, and I think, yeah, and if they don't show in 2028 in LA, those games should have an asterisk too. For example, the men's gymnastics teams, do they win a bronze medal if Russia's there? If the answer is no, then how good is that bronze medal? And we will just never know, right? So I think it's just lazy. It's just lazy. It's kind of bad foreign policy has non-obvious consequences, right? So, right now you got to understand, I think that Ukraine is a prison state, like keeping all of its men under like 60, keeping all of its men under 60 in the populace, like in the state. They can't leave. And so you're pretty much being forced to march into Russian cannons. So I'm not particularly happy with the Ukraine war. Once again, I think if Trump wins, maybe yeah, we don't back Ukraine against Russia. Russia rolls over them. There are fewer dead bodies and less rubble. Because a war zone after 3 years is not any place you kind of want to be. It doesn't matter. And Ukraine gets the Belarus treatment. And that is fine. It's not like don't let anybody fool you. There's no huge cultural difference. You change some flags, you get to keep the same religion, like moderately. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's not Israel-Palestine. If Putin doesn't want NATO incursion, that's fine. We went over more with Cuba than Russia was willing to do with Ukraine. So what I'm telling you is that Russia should have been at the Olympics, and not only would have been a better viewing experience for me, but I think it kind of confuses the state of play in national decisions. So Russia should have been at the Olympics. The next Olympics should be in India. I know they don't win any medals. Yeah, but how cool would it be to have an Olympics in India? The opening ceremonies would be baller. Like there would be so much I would just learn about India. And we could put cricket in, we could put chess and spelling, I don't know, whatever. Those are things Indian Americans are good at. I don't know about Indian Indians, but I think it could do good things for culture all across the world, and we should go out of our way to have, I don't know, the Olympics in Calcutta, Bombay. Print money to make it happen. Print money to make it happen. Put the Olympics in India, and that would be excellent. I think it would be excellent. Full stop. There would be some problems. There would be some logistical problems, but there are a billion people. They'll figure it out. There are a billion people, and they'd figure it out. They'd figure it out. So put the Olympics in India. That would be awesome. And India gets to pick a few new sports. And so flag football goes in the wayside and cricket comes out. And we would just make it work. And I think it would be good for the world. So India should host the Olympics. Say that. Now let's talk about athletes. Well, we can start in the pool. Katie Ledecky is just a wonderful human and a talented swimmer. And she won the 1500 by a country mile. She's just fantastic. It's good to see the U.S. swimmers not have as much dominance. If you don't know, swimming is one of these, not necessarily a generational sport, but you got to start young. You got to start young, and you have to have a serious club. There are certain clubs, and I know this because I went to high school in Orange County, California, next to two clubs in Nova Aquatics and then Matadors, where they produce Olympians. You got to start young, and you have to start seriously young. You have to be doing it seriously from a young age because it changes kind of how your body grows. Your heart becomes bigger, you get to flow. So there's a lot that goes in. It's not necessarily a generational sport. You can have good coaching, but you need to start young, and you need to start with a serious good coach young. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But it's good that the rest of the world is catching up. I support that the rest of the world is catching up and beating the United States. I don't know what the U.S. has to do to wrest China's dominance from diving. I think we need to get a little bit creative and take it as a national project to just go and poach gymnasts and make them divers. I don't know what it's going to take, but I don't like that we get our clock cleaned by China. The whole world gets its clock cleaned by China, but I don't want us to be so uncompetitive at diving. So I want us to do what we can at diving to get to make a bit of a national project or a project to train divers. And it's probably one of those things that you need to. I mean, it's scary, so you need to get them while they're young and before they have all of those fear reflexes. All right, so I want to poach China's diving prowess. Now let's talk. I don't really quite understand the strategy that goes into the chase biking, velodrome type stuff. It's cool to watch. And I remember that like there's a speed skating, biking. Bonnie Blair did both, and like there's a speed skating, biking kind of harmony that goes. And I appreciate sports that work well together, but I still don't quite understand the strategy on biking. So I don't know if I'm okay with biking kind of going the way of the dodo bird. And like road racing I get, but the velodrome stuff is a little bit more complicated for me to get my head around. All right, so now we can talk about track and field. Everyone wants me to poop on Noah Lyles. I'm not going to do that. That man's the fastest man in the world. Like he gets to have whatever. He gets to do his thing. And he's already won a gold medal in the 200, so he doesn't have to prove with you. He won the 100. He was the fastest man in the world. Put some respect behind his name. Now, Gabby Douglas is a different beast for me because she gives me that Robin Givens energy. I just see like she makes me nervous. Like I physically get nervous. Like when I see her, I have to turn the channel because she's like all of these red flags go off on her. I know she's gonna try to be the face of U.S. track and field, and everybody wants her to be the face of U.S. track and field, but she just looks like a Gabby Thomas. Yeah, Gabby Thomas. Did I say Gabby Douglas? I meant Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas. Gabby Douglas is somebody else. Gabby Douglas is fine. Gabby Thomas makes me nervous. Gabby Thomas has that Robin Givens energy. I just see like a divorce happening. Like every time I see her, I'd like, that's the kind of woman who would divorce me if I got poor. Like there's something wrong. And for all you guys who say like, oh, he hates black women. No, I would not say that about Tara Woodhall. I would not say that about Sydney McLaughlin Lavoni. I would not say that about Messiah Thomas, the woman who won the 100 hurdles. She seems cool. It's just Gabby Thomas is the one that like puts me in some sort of way and gets me in my feelings about. I feel like a PTSD from another life. Maybe it's because, like I said, there's a push to make her when I know that she's not particularly good. So I feel like there's a whole system that's trying to trap you into someone who's not who's not about that life. But Sydney McLaughlin Lavoni, I love her. Like every time she comes on, I bring my daughters around just so that they can like bask in her awesomeness. She's got like, and I love TT Terry. TT Terry is just fine. Although I can't help but think that you're playing with fire with those huge braids. And it's something that's decided by, quarters of a second. But Sydney McLaughlin's one I've gathered all the kids around and I say, watch her. Just watch how she moves, watch how she does everything, every interview, everything. And she actually was one who made me think about the world of faith in sports. You got to believe in things unseen if you're going to be a great athlete. In a way, because you're doing something that shouldn't be able to be done in a way. You need to have an incredible amount of faith in yourself and a faith in a higher power. It's possible. I'm not surprised. Someone like Sydney McLaughlin Lavoni is as devout as she is. And I think she's wonderful. I was going to say, I think she's wonderful. Completely biased. Once again, Quincy Hall, that was that dog. It took all of that orchestration to see someone who's got that dog in him. And I was asking myself, if I had to pick one track and field athlete, male and female, to do anything, and I picked the athlete, and then at a random draw, they were going to pick two random events, and I had to just pick the athlete. I think I would go with Grant Holloway. And maybe Rye Benjamin. Excuse me, I'm getting over something. Maybe Rye Benjamin and Grant Holloway. And then if it were women, it'd be Safan Hassan. If you saw the marathon First of all, Sifan Hassan's wonderful. The interviews with her are wonderful. Like, everything about her is wonderful. But if you saw the marathon, Hassan runs 26 miles. She runs 26 miles with her competition, and then she's about to make her kick at the end. 26 miles, so you just have the 0.2 miles left. She goes on the outside. The woman kind of like moves to the outside to block her, to cut her off. And then Hassan's like, screw it, I'm going to go to the inside. Then the woman tries to run her into a Sefa. The woman tries to run her into the barrier, and Hassan, like, she's about to get into her full stride, which is very fast, right? It's like, get out of my way. Just get. And I'm just thinking, she should get some sort of humanitarian award, because if I'm Sifan Hassan in that situation, like, I want to put that woman in the pavement. We've run 26 miles, and you're too scared to sprint with me for this last 200, so you're trying to put me into the barrier. Like, Asefa should just be happy that she got like a little push and not something a little bit more. So go ahead and look up women's marathon ending, Sifan Hassan, and you'll see exactly what I mean. I would have put her in the ground. Like, it was an act of mercy that all she got was a push. All Asefa got was a push, and not like a huge like shove as I like got her right into the pavement. All right. So Sifan Hassan, I think, might be the best pure athlete, like one of the best pure athletes I would trust. If I had to, like I said, the game is you pick one track athlete, but you don't know the event, and then there's a random draw of the events. I might pick Hassan as my athlete. I mean, it's easy to pick a decathlete and a heptathlete, but you know, some of these, like I think Vi Benjamin or Grant Holloway, I want to bet on their excellence. I think they could. I'd pick my fighter. They would be my fighters. And then the women would be Sifan Hassan and maybe Sydney. Although, like, as you know, 10K and higher would be a little bit trickier, but she would. But I think she could power through the power events as well as any other person. And I think she's just great. I liked Dalilah Muhammad. I always liked Dalilah Muhammad, but Sydney's special. She's special. I like Anna Hall. I hope Anna Hall stays healthy for the next 4 years. She's a good kid. She's just good kids. Like, I like these good kids, like, doing good work. Hope she heals up. I want her to get, like, put a little bit more bulk on her, get a little bit stronger. But I think there are like 3 or 4 of the heptathletes who are actually across the world who are actually like Thompson, who are actually decent people. That's what I appreciate. They're actually decent people. Who else? What about the 4x1? All right, so the 4x1 men's, we have a problem getting the stick around. I think we take a page out of Japan and China's book where we just pick a 4x1 team made up of people 3 through 6. And that's all they do. And we'd win gold. That's all they do. That's like you at the trials, you have 4 through 6. You are our 4x1 team. You spend the next 2 months working on handoffs. Every day, you don't worry about anything else. You're there to get the stick around. I don't think we'd give up that much speed, and I think we run a 37. So, like, I think it works out just fine. I think it's a little bit embarrassing that we have such a technical problem getting the baton all the way around. Like, we can't figure out how to win that gold medal, the men. Good for Shikari for bringing it home. And yeah, mean mugging that girl the way. I had a complicated relationship with Shikari Richardson. But I think I was wrong. She's just great. Period. I think she's just great, period. And she's great. She's great. She's USA track and field needs her. America needs her, and we should be grateful to have her. And she came back and got us that gold in the 4x1. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so now Quincy Wilson, the 16-year-old phenom, who I think is a great story because he did not have a great race. He ran 47, in a relay where people are supposed to run 43s, 44s. But, there's all this hype around him being 16 years old, and we just kind of assumed that he would thrive, and it turns out he didn't necessarily thrive. But everyone rallied around, said, like, you know what, Youngblood? You keep at it. And there's this great scene with, like, Vernon Norwood, who's 32, and Quincy Wilson, who was 16. So Norwood's twice his age. Like, afterwards saying, you did your job, Youngblood. And that's what I appreciate for both Norwood, and hope Quincy Wilson feels the love. And it's not magic, you got to work, you got to grind. And Norwood's very good at his job, both the mentoring aspect of his job and the 400 relay running aspect of his job. He's like Lezak. He's like that guy. If you want like a captain of your team, I would pick Norwood. I guess like Juwan Howard for the Heat. I'm thinking of those guys. Maybe Thanasis for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know. Those guys who hold the team together in a non-obvious way. Yeah. So Vernon Norwood. Thank you, Vernon Norwood. Nice work fencing. U.S. women's fencing. What else? I'm a little curious as to what LA is going to do. I'm not very happy with the fact that LA has... I'm not really happy that LA has the Olympics in 2028. I feel like it's been too recent. There are other towns. There are other shows. There are other towns. I missed a thing Mo. I think it's weird that Kitty Hutchinson was pretty much gifted a medal because the thing didn't have a backup. We didn't have a backup to make a thing exemption. I think if you're the old Olympic champion, and I don't know, it's just complicated. There's this old article about Bella Caroli I remember reading, it must have been 2004, and the gymnastics team competition. And there's supposed to be a system where you have trials and all of this stuff and votes and committee votes and then more trials and more committee votes. But they said, like, look, at the end, Bella would just walk in and pick 1, 2, 3, 4, you, not you, and that would be it. So all of those committees and votes would just kind of show. And I kind of appreciate that. And there's a little bit of me that appreciates that. And I wish there would have been something where do you want to come say hi to the people? There would have just been something where a thing. Hello.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey.
Hi, people.
Hi, people. Just talking about the Olympics. All right, I'll be up in a second, okay?
The Olympics are great.
The Olympics are great. Do you have a favorite Olympian?
I guess either Simone Biles or Sha'Carri Richardson.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I appreciate that. Both good choices. All right, I'll be up in a moment.
Bye.
Love you. All right, so I wish there was an exemption for a thing. Mo, I missed your seeing there. And that's just what it is. It's just what it is. What else did I appreciate about the Olympics? Once again, the theme is a bop. Bum, ba da ba bum, ba da ba ba, ba 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 ba. Every Olympics has its own theme. Paris hired a composer. They did a good job. Oh, we need to stop messing around with 3v3 basketball and just put some good players there. Like Jimmer Fredette. No. New. We need to stop messing around, take that gold medal seriously, and we can't just say 5-on-5 basketball is real basketball, but 3-on-3 isn't. They're both gold medals, and we need to win that one. It's embarrassing. We need to put our real players on the men's and women's team. By the way, women's basketball. So A'ja Wilson is the best women's basketball player in the U.S. But
man, Breonna Stewart, like, if I have to pick a team, I'd have a hard time not picking her. She does it all. And I have a hard time not picking her. Breonna Stewart's like,
Yeah, she's that good. She might not be one of one, like the way Cindy McLaughlin is one of one. Like she's in a class by herself. But Brianna Stewart. So as much as I don't particularly like AJ Wilson's game. That helps. I like Chelsea Gray's game. I like the other games, but I like Brianna Stewart's game, but I can't deny that AJ Wilson's like it should be in the conversation of the best working basketball player for the women like there is, because she wins games and she comes up big in clutch performances, all of that stuff. I still think the 04 team owes the United States the 04 men's team owes the United States an apology. I know there have been many documentaries and all of that stuff about, like, I just remember that Puerto Rico game. I was watching it live, or Calderon just lit up these guys, and I'm like, who is this? Yeah, so I don't think the world is going to catch up to U.S. basketball anytime soon, and I think we need to go get our best players on 3-3. I mean, Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton maybe should have been playing 3-3 for as much good as they did. Jaylen Brown. Actually, that team wins. I don't know who your big is. No, Tatum's big enough. Yeah, that team might win. Maybe it comes close to winning, but we need to take 3-3 seriously. It's kind of embarrassing that we assume our scrubs can win, and it turns out they can't. Jimmy Federer isn't a scrub, but like we didn't send our best. We did not send our best. What else do you need to know about my takes on the Olympics? Where's the U.S. ping pong game? Why can't we get ping pong talent? I don't understand. I don't understand. Where's the U.S. ping pong game? I think that should be something that should be thriving in suburbs all over the United States. We should get someone who's close. All right, I'll be out in a second. Thank you. And once again, I do want you to play that game in the comments about if you had to pick one track athlete, but you didn't know the event. The event was going to be selected by random draw later. Maybe Valerie Allman. I bet you she can run. You had to pick one track athlete. Who would you pick? I think Grant Holloway and maybe Sydney. And then if I had to pick a second, it'd be Rai Benjamin and Safan Hassan. Yeah, I think, and if you had to pick one athlete, who would? Coco Gauff. You leave Coco. It's hard, okay? I don't have a problem with Coco. I have zero. If you don't come onto my page and have a problem with Coco Gauff. Coco is one of these kids who was raised right. Let her do her thing. And if she loses every now and then, that's fine. But like, she has a lot on her young shoulders. All right. Take care.